All right, so thank you everyone that's joined. Basically, we're just gonna go through everything, like I said, one more time. I know that some of you that joined for the unofficial one. I'll just go over an introduction on myself, and Crypt's gonna do the same. So my name's Connor, otherwise known as the Oak. Um, I am the co-founder of Antisocial Media. I started my journey when I was about 15 years old with wanting to make games. That's where I started, and then eventually I was wanting to do code, and then I thought the art's kind of cooler. I thought the art was hard, but I decided to learn the art. And then I started my journey on Fiverr to try and find more clients. I eventually found my first client who wanted to make an NFT collection on Solana, and that's kind of where my NFT journey started and my crypto, where I got into the crypto side of things. And then from there, Crypto eventually reached out to me on Twitter because he saw my art, or my 3D art, and that's how we linked up for this project. That's like my story in a summary. And yeah, I'm super excited to work on this brand. It's something that I've been wanting to do for a very long time. It was something I was working on alone before even Crypt reached out to me because I wanted to start the brand called The Oak. And obviously, The Oak doesn't. It's like you have to explain the brand more than what antisocial media is because antisocial media stands for something in itself, whereas the oak is something you would have to explain. But that's kind of my summary or my story in short. But yeah, Crypt, if you want to go ahead.
Cool. Yeah, so I'm Crypt. I am the founder of Antisocial Media, also known as Chris. I have a background in software development. I studied in university. I went through all these things to kind of learn all the ropes of just, I was always interested in code. I was always interested in all these things. But when COVID kind of hit, that was back in 2020, I kind of took a step and started to learn how to invest, started to learn what this thing called cryptocurrency is. It's a pretty confusing thing when you first get into it, but eventually I gained a little bit of confidence and just started investing, and I found things like XRP. I found out exactly what these things are, Bitcoin, Ethereum, what the differences are, and yeah, I kind of landed on XRP. And I was lucky enough to when I started this project, I was lucky enough to meet somebody like Oak. Oak is very talented at so many other things like 3D modeling. Like it's a very great partnership, and yeah, I think that this is just going to be something amazing.
Thank you,
But
appreciate that. I'm really glad I met you as well. It's like almost the perfect storm. We like exactly alike. We have the same idea and same place where we want to end up, the same goals. It's very exciting. Um,
yeah, that's you also mentioned like when we first started talking that like it was funny like you wanted to start a brand, and
mhm.
like I was always thinking like I was working kind of a crappy job, and in the essence of working that crappy job I'd be sweeping the floors or something, or I'd be cleaning the gutters, and I'd be thinking about like a brand. I was like, what do I want to do like in this world? Like what would be the coolest thing that I could ever do? And I'd be like a brand. Like something like making clothes, making art, making something that like I can put something like my soul into, because cleaning gutters and sweeping floors, it's not, even with a good background in coding and all these things, it just didn't resonate well with me. And then, I took a leap of faith. I was like, I'm really interested in this thing called XRP. The XRP community is pretty cool, and I think that it is the future. So I'd like to be here when it is the future and when we're in the future. So
It's almost like
why not
leaving
take a
behind a
chance?
legacy if you have a brand, right? It's like also the whole thing
Yeah,
where you can go into so many directions because it's a brand. It's not just the NFT project. It's like we start off in the NFT section and build out to eventually go to the public. And I think that's what a lot of NFT projects say they want to do or they try to do, but they just move so slowly. You know, it's
well,
just
that was one of the exactly. That's one of the things, sweeping the floor, and I was thinking like, what like, because obviously I was interested in NFTs, and I was trying to wrap my hand around or my head around everything like crypto, NFTs, like what is all these things? I watched a lot of people on YouTube like Zilla, and all these people that kind of went over what went wrong in all these projects, like what to avoid, like why these things don't work. And I came to like the conclusion that these things they don't really have the exact plan in place. Like they don't, it's not even that they don't have the plan, it's that they don't have the brand. So if you create something that's anti-social media,
Yeah,
the name itself, it resonates with a lot of
it
people.
stands for
It
something as well.
resonates,
Yeah,
it, yeah, it stands for something. It resonates. You don't have to, in 3 words, you can kind of summarize a feeling,
exactly.
and that different compared to maybe like a collection of pixel monkeys or pixel apes or anything that you can kind of think of. I think that the name itself, if you create a brand, you can reach into different spaces. You can reach into the crypto space, and you could also expand
And
the
not even
vision
not even
into
just that.
anything.
It's like you when you're building the brand, you can. It's like all competition is good competition in the sense. It's like even if someone makes a collection that's ghosts, well, no hate on any like what's that other people that are making ghosts now? I think they started when you
Yeah,
started. No, uh,
Josh mentioned one
yeah.
of the projects. I think it was Ghost Mob or
But
something, but
in yeah, anyways, they had to make a collection. It's like, what would we do? What are we gonna do about that? It's like there's
yeah.
nothing. Why there's nothing for us to do. Like if they do it, they do it, and if they sell out like 100%, that's great for them. But at the end of the day, it's like we have a ghost collection that stands for something. That's kind of going into the next section that we want to talk about with the company itself or the brand itself. It's
Yeah.
like we want to kind of as anti-social media as a conglomerate and what a if some of you that don't know what a conglomerate is, this is a company basically that has companies underneath of it. So if let's just say we had anti-social media at the top, that's the conglomerate, like BlackRock, for instance. So you have anti-social media at the top, and then you have, let's say, if we had clothing here and skateboards there and a coffee shop, just putting it all out there, like if we
Anything,
had that.
anything. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like so. Even if it doesn't, let's just say we had a coffee shop, and it doesn't need to be antisocial, the antisocial coffee cup, or the antisocial coffee or whatever. It's just antisocials at the top, and that's underneath of it. So the brand is antisocial media at the end of the day, and it's like so. Back to the topic of if someone is making a new collection of ghosts, it's like good for them. I hope they sell out, but there's like the competition is different, if you know what I mean, because our competition would be another brand. It's not really
Absolutely.
someone who's even someone that's making a game, for instance. Like even if we get into the game thing, I don't think there's ever anything that's bad if someone's making something very similar to us at some stage. And that's also what we were speaking about going because we want suspense, of course, when we talk about certain things, but at the same time, and also we don't want to give out everything we want to do for other projects. But then we spoke and we were like, well, if we even give stuff out, we move so fast. Like when we met, 2 weeks after we met, we had the Lost Souls collection done and ready to go
Yeah.
with the plan of how we're going to end up doing everything. And now already we have the plan, the next we're 4 steps ahead, or like we know the next 4 steps. And that's also going on to the whole roadmap thing that we can go on just now, but like we know sort of the plan, you know, of where we want to take everything.
No, exactly. And we honestly, when you say 4 steps, I feel like
It's quite a bit more steps.
we might even be like a lot more than 4 steps now
Yeah.
because there's so many things that like that's the thing with a brand. If you want to like consider what an NFT project that has a mascot, you want to consider what they can do versus something that can relate to not even just the crypto space, but something that can extend to the real world. Like the amount of steps that you can take in different directions is almost infinite
Yeah.
because if you have a brand and the thing like anti-social media always just it hit my ears different. It stood for something that I felt that this generation can kind of relate to, and it always made more sense to start just anti-social media and just see where it goes. And then I started off with the degens, and the degens I put a lot of like I guess you could say Easter eggs, but they're more like little resemblances of my life. Like, you have the sleep deprived kind of look, you have the heartbroken in the background, you have all these types of things, all these things that kind of lead you to this direction of where
Almost,
you are now.
yeah, and the artist behind it, it gives you a feel, you know.
And that's the thing. And then you have the waifu background. I love that background. That was
Yeah.
one I really like when I made it. I just started laughing, like, but it kind of resembles like the dream,
It's
you
also
know.
it's also good to have like some when building you need to relate to people and it's like you can have a certain amount of seriousness when it comes to building a business in general. But if you don't want to have it too corporate, which it's great between us because like it's literally two friends like building a brand together. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
not very
When
corporate,
yeah.
and we both want it to work out. And like we're going to make it work out. It's just, and it's nice to not have everything. It's you can have like a certain amount of seriousness, and then still be funny and relate to people because we're all
And
humans.
that's
Yeah.
exactly. That's the other thing. When you go the corporate direction, like I've seen a lot of certain brands, like, and it's brands that are obviously a lot bigger than ours. Our brand is a little bit of, the startup. We're
Mhm.
in that area, but you have these big brands and it kind of goes the corporate direction. Like if you're the CEO of one of these brands, you have to report to Bob and Billy, and Bob might disagree with Billy, and Billy might disagree with, Raymond. There's a whole trickle down effect of your ideas and how
Mhm.
those ideas end up relating and fully coming
Yeah, and
to
it's
the
not you
vision
can't even just
at the end.
click. It's like you get this idea and you just relay it back to me, and it's just quick. It's like okay, yeah, or well maybe not. Let's do it, and then we bounce between ideas between the two of us, where you have to bounce ideas between like 4 or 5 different people, which becomes obviously it takes
Yeah.
long, and it's like
And yeah. And the second that you start like bouncing ideas between more and more people, then you start to like overthink yourself. You start to think maybe the thing that I'm doing that I was really passionate about, maybe it doesn't click well because it doesn't click well with this person. Maybe it doesn't mesh well in this area or this area. But the thing is with me and Oak is that we agree. We have yet to disagree on certain things. We have the same kind of vision, the same vibe, and we're very passionate about what we're building. And I think that that's something that honestly most brands when they're starting out they kind of dream of. Like they dream of clicking with somebody and just having the same vision to build out as
yeah, which
fast as
is
possible.
insane. Yeah, I think a lot of
Yeah.
people dream to have what we have at the moment. It's just we basically agree on a lot of areas, and if we don't agree on something, we raise both points to make sure we get to the end point, which we eventually both agree on. Like I think there's been very few times when we disagree on certain things, but
I can't even honestly I can't name one.
yeah,
Like it's if we disagree on something, it's something that we talk about and we're like we come to like that medium. So it's not
exactly,
it's
true.
not like a standpoint where it's
Or
like
it's
my
like
opinion's right, your opinion's
when
wrong,
making the
your
ghost or
opinion's wrong.
something, there was
Yeah.
like one part I didn't like, and you're like, well, it's not that bad, and then we're like, oh, guess
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
but yeah,
You're
I
like, can
think
we make it? Can we tweak it a little bit? Can we do
yeah.
this? Can we do that? But it was like you then after you do it, you'd be like, oh, okay, I get it. This is sick. So it'd be like, yeah,
And also talking about going on to like the brand and how it would work with the conglomerate. One of our plans are it's not set in stone yet, but it's like so if we had to, the Lost Souls would sort of stand for our clothing section, right? And if we at some point made another collection called Penguins or something, Penguin Snowboarders, that could stand for the other business, which is a snowboarding, the ASM snowboards or something, right? And then what we were thinking is like a percentage, not set in stone yet. This is just a plan that we have currently in thought. It's like a percentage of the net profit of that company gets put back into staking of the NFTs. So people that hold a certain amount get back. So it's almost like it's like us, which is like how NFTs should work. It's we're getting investors in the beginning, and then the investors get their money back over time passively. And we obviously run most of the decisions and stuff, of course. But then that's
not financial advice.
yeah, not financial advice, yeah, but yeah, it's like getting it's if let's just say we had one person invest a whole bunch of money into us, it's the same thing as having a bunch of people invest money into us. If you know what I mean? That we put
And
yeah.
but yeah, exactly, dude. And that could apply to so many different avenues that we end up going down. Like, say we create a different clothing line that's just t-shirts, and those are digital t-shirts, so we'd have a separate if like we'll go into the metaverse more in detail,
Yeah.
but if we have digital t-shirts and we have a digital coffee mug and we have a digital, I really want to do something like basketballs, different sports, skateboards, surfboards.
Mm,
Like that's the thing with a brand, you could do really anything. So if you have
literally.
these and let's say you start selling these to the avenue, you can actually put the profit that you make from the brand and you could rediversify that back to people that invested in the NFTs. So it would be something that we made externally, but it's being kind of ushered down and redistributed to everybody that's already invested.
And it's kind
So
of
that
it's almost our way of raising the floor, right? Because at the end of the day, we also want to have
not
a
financial.
good, yeah, not financial advice. I didn't like I said, this was planned out, but it's like we're trying to raise
Yeah,
the floor, and that's like one good way of raising the floor. Let alone like other
exactly.
utilities that we have, right? Or end up getting, because yeah, as we build. But that's like one of the things that we have an idea of percentages of net profit of certain things. So lost souls would stand for our clothing section, basically, depending not not like I said, not set in stone yet, but like the lost souls could stand for the clothing.
And yeah, and for people that are invested in degens and people that are invested in Lost Souls,
Hmm.
I just want to make it clear, like, we're not going to continue to just keep pushing out art collections,
Yeah, yeah, no.
like character collections. I think this is going to be the last one we do for quite a long time. The next avenue we go down is clothing,
Hmm.
GLBs, metaverse, like, and you won't have to individually invest in things like metaverse items or metaverse
Hmm.
clothing. It's tied to the clothing
Hmm.
specifically. So if you get the physical item and it's a bonus on top of it. Like there's no incentive to really do this at the moment. But it's an external reward that you get for it, if that makes sense. So that's the next avenue we're going down. Lost Souls are probably going to be the last art,
For
character
yeah, because
collection for quite
yeah,
some time.
because that, like I said, the whole thing is like the clothes, and the clothing's gonna take up a big section of time. Like that's something that we are like focused on. So we want the clothes, and talking about the clothes in general, we don't just want to, like, as you saw, some of you might have seen the video of the hoodie. Like we're not just taking an image of a lost soul and heat pressing it onto a hoodie. It's like not. We actually want to make a brand that looks good, that I would wear and that
Exactly.
Crypt would wear. Like we're not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the main thing. That's the main. Honestly, if I was making clothes, and I know you're the same way, like we're both very picky,
Mhm.
and it's like if we aren't making something that we actually like would wear in public, and like people would compliment us and be like, "Wow, that's pretty cool." Like that's a very cool brand. That's a very cool hoodie.
Mhm.
Like, and that's the thing with a lot of hoodies. Like you could see a hoodie that, I'm not good at point fingers at any single person, but there's hoodies that kinda they're just very niche and they're very center oriented around maybe the characters or maybe around the brand. Like
Mhm.
obviously we can do things in the future with Lost Souls if you want to have your Lost Soul on a hoodie, if you want to have this on a hoodie, but to break out of the avenue of just crypto, to break out of that space, you have to make things that everybody just looks at and they're like,
Almost relate
that's
to.
really
Yeah.
exactly. Like that's cool. I would wear that regardless of whatever it is.
If
Like you want to make clothes that is just
if anything, if
really
we had to
nice.
put a lost soul on a hoodie, I would make it transparent first. Like so, yeah, transparent meaning it's just the body. I don't, because I personally heat pressed just something that's pressed on with the box. I can't. It's just this looks so tacky. Having something that's heat
Yeah.
pressed on.
It's
Yeah.
like you want something that, yeah,
Ex-
people look at and they're like, that's a brand.
yeah.
Like that's not
Exactly. Yeah.
just a project, that's a brand. That is
And
something that is very cool.
and with the brand, we wanted to do as obviously we wanted to do as good as possible, as well as possible. So we want it to look good, to so it goes on forever, and that people start putting eyes on us and start noticing it as people are wearing it in the street and etc. You know.
And that's also like the avenue that we're planning on going down after this. So we have, I guess you can call this the early startup fund,
Mm.
where we're doing the artworks, we're doing the collectibles, we're like collectibles as in like Lost Souls and Degens.
Mhm.
But after this, we're gonna allow for like a lot of time to kind of let these settle around the brand. Like we're not gonna make any characters anytime soon after
Mhm.
this.
I
It's
think
just gonna be clothing,
yeah, the only collection is the
collectibles.
GLBs. So the GLBs is like the collectibles that you get from the holding the lost souls, basically. It's like
Yeah,
the
and
yeah.
if we wanna talk about the collectibles,
Mm.
like
Yeah, let's go.
as what they are, the collectibles are gonna be something that is something that I don't think we have seen on XRP yet. It's something that I've been kind of brainstorming for a while, but essentially like we've never seen anything like this on XRP. And the reason that we're going to be doing them 3D and in .gob format, I'm not sure if anyone knows what .gob format is, but essentially it allows you to host a 3D item. So you could spin it around, you could do anything with it. It's a 3D item that you can host on the blockchain. And you can use apps like if you sign a Zum transaction, you could actually have a demo where you show the 3D object in Unity, which is where, X Spectre, all these 3D metaverses, that's what they use. So you can have the 3D item actually hosted in 3D, and you could pick it up,
So I had my
in
recording on.
3D.
I just want to make
You
sure.
could play with it. You could do whatever you want with it. It's not only just a 3D thing that you can look at. It's something that in the metaverse people might actually want because it's a 3D object that is there. You could put it in your metaverse house. Like I'm not sure where the metaverse is going, but there's a lot of people with a lot of money that are trying to build this thing into something that is really something that's amazing. So
Like, especially
if we
like
can
someone like
be
Mark Zuckerberg,
there,
you know.
yeah. So the thing is to just be the number one brand there. Like I don't want to recreate the wheel when there's people that are already making better wheels,
Mm.
you know? So I'm not going to go and make the entire metaverse. But if you can be one of the first people on the jump to create these metaverse items, create metaverse clothing, create everything that you could ever think of to correspond with this world, then it makes the most sense to be positioned in that spot. So we have 3D objects, 3D things that you could
Basically,
actually
basically, if the
host.
metaverse takes off, we're there. You know what I mean? We're like ready to go once it's up and going. So we're not gonna make the metaverse or get a website for the metaverse, but we will be ready for it. If that makes sense.
Oh, and
Yeah.
Anthony just said, I think XRP Cafe said they may have support for these 3D items coming soon in an update. It was a random conversation in their Discord last week.
Nice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we can do this right now, and that's the beautiful thing. So XRP Cafe, they're the first NFT platform. That was one of the reasons why we chose Cafe was they have the .gob support. You can host these .gob items in the XRP Cafe, and it will update as their site updates. So the quality will get better, the lighting will get better, everything will get better, but the item itself will not change. So you can host these items in XRP Cafe already. So for the next 3D collectibles, we will be giving those away completely for free,
Yeah.
and we'll be doing a tech demo, and we could show everybody how these things are hosted in the metaverse completely. And I think that's going to be one of the things that people are going to be excited about, especially
Mhm.
in the future, for sure.
Definitely, I agree. And yeah, like the metaverse is definitely a thing that we have open. So with the clothing as well, it's like maybe we can even go onto the website topic now. For instance, when we do the website and you actually buy a hoodie, you can claim your collectible for the metaverse, for instance, right? I'm sure you can,
For
but
sure.
you can go on a rant with that, like how the website's gonna work with that, because like
Yeah.
yeah,
So, okay. So for anyone that wants to know, so the website right now, obviously, it's not an incredible website. It's just something that
mm,
I created, and it kind of hosts and shows everything that we're doing at the moment. But the next website, so the V2 website, is going to be probably one of the most high-tech websites that, you know, at least it's something high-tech to me because we're going to get XRP developers in, we're going to get all these different developers, make sure that it's like a really high-tech website. So it's getting website. So to
yeah,
explain it,
we want a
I
lot
guess,
of in and outs, you know, with
yeah,
if
we have a lot of ideas for
yeah,
how we
maybe
can do it.
let's maybe talk about a lot of the things that we have. So it's nothing to do that's set in stone. It's just ideas that we have, how we want the website to end up looking or work. So we obviously don't know the technical side of some of the stuff. So the ideas that we have that we're just gonna mention of how we maybe want it to be or end up, like the output of what
So
we kind of want.
okay, so to ramble off some of the ideas, just remember none of these are set in stone. I'll
Yeah.
let you know if it is set in stone, but some of these are just ideas that we really think are cool and could implement. But for the website itself, you'd log on, you'd see certain things like you'd see Lost Souls, you'd see Degens, you'd see the Genesis, you'd see all the things that we've done so far. But it would be a niche category because I think a lot of people, at least here, can agree. Say you go out in the public, like not a lot of people can relate to crypto. A lot of people have stigmas about crypto. So if you can apply a brand to kind of apply to the real world where people are, they're not really niche into investing. They're just into like cool things like clothing, and you can combine the two into a crypto brand and a physical just clothing brand that can advertise on Instagram and can advertise on YouTube, and you can get all these people involved, but you just have a niche category for certain things. Like that's essentially where our brand is going. But for the website, we're gonna have things such as like, say you're in our digital tab. You're in the digital tab of the website, and you'll go on and you'll see maybe a digital hoodie. Like for the Lost Souls, we have a one of one hoodie, but that is like strictly only for Lost Souls. You'll never get that color combination again. You'll never get the same exact type of hoodie. That is only for Lost Souls people, like the people that have 18 or more.
Yeah,
That is it.
limited.
We're
Yeah,
we're never
exclusive.
making that
Yeah.
again. But say you're buying like a base model digital hoodie that's just like say like version of that Lost Souls. Like the green one's only for Lost Souls, but say it's a white one. You'd buy the hoodie, and in the future we're looking into implementing things where you could buy with XRP, where you could buy with fiat, and we're open to discussing different payment methods, obviously. But for now, that's the plan. XRP and fiat, whatever fiat you own, and you'd buy it, and then there would be a little thing after you buy it, say your order is successful, and it would say mint your NFT, mint your digital NFT. So that NFT, you'd mint it, it would open your Zum with a transaction, you'd scan the QR code, and that NFT would be minted on the XRP Cafe blockchain or just on the XRP ledger. And you would have a 3D GLB that is usable in the metaverse completely for free, just for buying a hoodie, just for buying merch, just for buying whatever it is that you buy. We have the exact replica copy that is digitalized and available to own.
Maybe
So
maybe what so when you say phygital, maybe explain because I think some people are not sure when you say
it's
phygital.
a weird physical and digital combined, I guess
Yeah.
is what phygital is. It's a weird word, but I've heard it a lot. It's kind of a buzzword just like the metaverse,
Hmm.
but the thing about buzzwords is it depends on where it's going. Like anything can be a buzzword, but you really have to see at who's building it. Like crypto's a buzzword, but XRP and Ripple, they're doing things that nobody else is doing. So
So
that
also
buzzword has real value behind it.
also talking about that if you have an NFT or the NFT collection, like let's say the Lost Souls, when we spoke, I spoke a little bit about it on the unofficial call, but where you could maybe possibly get access to certain areas of the website, not set in stone, but
Oh yeah,
yeah, you can have. So if you have a lost soul or a certain amount of lost souls, you can buy certain clothes that other people can't buy, and also, maybe going onto that topic, so we haven't spoke about this. I spoke about it in unofficial, but the statues, like actual having collectibles that you can physically have on your desk. So like,
yeah.
we're not sure
Yep.
about the lost souls. If we're
They're
gonna
not
put a
ready for
lost
that.
soul on your desk, also not certain.
We
Like,
could do that.
yeah, we. So if you could possibly, you can't buy certain collectible items that you can put on your desk without owning a certain amount of NFTs, which would be interesting to figure out on the website how you would do it. So we would have like a public, and then we'll have exclusive drops, and then we can have for the NFT holders, and then you have with the NFT
Yeah,
holders certain sections. So it's also like category wise. Just give me 1 second, sorry.
yeah. But like essentially, yeah, that'd be like an SQL database. So you can have a public and a private that's accessible under certain conditions. So if you think about, accessing maybe like a private part of the website, and that would only be available, say, this is just completely an example. Say you own, I don't know, 50 degens and 10 lost souls. Like there's no, we don't have a number set in place at all, but it's just if you own a certain amount of something, then you are technically considered a VIP. And this could also function into the 3D collectibles.
Hmm.
So if you own these things, then you are able to access a certain part of the website. Because when you sign into the website, it would be a Zum QR code, and it would also be an email. So you have your holdings verified on the website. And the thing is, we could do anything in the VIP. So we could have like a one of one statue, anything that we really can do, but it would only be available to people that are
Yeah.
early investors and, early adopters of the project. And that's the way that we want to reward people is by giving them exclusive features. And if there's exclusive features in the future and the brand builds out, there's obviously going to be people that also want those exclusive features. The
Like the
crypto
Nike
space and the
shoes almost.
XRP space.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if Nike had that, I'm not saying we're going to be Nike. Like
Yeah.
Nike's a very, but I'm just saying like if brands had something like that available, it's something that people would definitely want to look into.
It's almost like example, like for example, like the Nike shoes. I used this example the other day as well. It's like they, when they bought the shoes, however long ago, they weren't. How do I say? They weren't relevant until now. That's why they're so
Right.
expensive. Because like there's like one of five, or there's not as many of certain things. And then talking about statue. So when we say statue, it basically, just to clear it up, when you have a statue, it's something you can put on your desk. That's maybe a word we can use from now on when we say statue. So
It's a yeah,
yeah,
real
so
3D
maybe
model.
if we had to at some stage that people who have the one of ones, you are able to buy the collectible on the website. This is something that we've been thinking about. So you would be able to buy the collectible by holding the one of one. So then, how do we incentivize that once you've bought, like, let's say you minted, like, what's the point of then buying the one of one because you can only get the collectible? So you can kind of decide how rare something is. This is something that I've also thought about. It's like how you can, if you sell it, then that means someone can buy two of one. So then then there would be two in the world if someone bought the one of one because they can buy the other collectible or they can buy the same collectible, for instance. And then we'll just
Yeah,
have like that's like one section we could have, and then we could have specifically one of ones that can never be created again. Like that's it. There's one, and then there's one of fives never be created again. And then for the collection, you can have that can be a separate thing that people can buy. So then that could
and
also get people in the
yeah,
NFT thing that are in public. Like, how did they get this thing that there's only one or two in the world, and you can't. You would have to get the NFT in order to buy it. For instance, that could be maybe something as well. Or even, like you said, when you have 50 legions, not putting a number on it, but 50 legions and 20 lost souls, you can buy the collectible. That gives you an opportunity to actually get it.
exactly.
But yeah, that's
And
like an
I'm just gonna take 10 seconds. I just have to go to the washroom quick. I'll
okay,
just be right
cool.
back.
Yeah. And then also speaking about the VIP stuff, if you think about it, because we I actually want Crips to be back when I start talking about like parties at some stage. That'll be really cool, like later down the line, because I'm sure you guys know the gods. The gods makes a lot of I think the gods makes a lot of parties, which is like really cool. At some stage we have like IDs. I said this on the unofficial one as well, but we have like little IDs that you can scan of the NFT you hold or something like that to register that you're VIP. Because I know that how you get into some of those, you just show a photo that you have the NFT. But I know a friend that got into a party because he like photoshopped it somehow and they didn't check it properly. So it would be interesting to get into that. But I'm sure we can recap of it once Crypt gets back. But that's like one of the website stuff is really interesting on all the avenues we want to go down, and then maybe talking about the conglomerate. So we have let's just say we have a snowboard section and there's clothing sections. We're going to focus on the clothes at the moment until the clothes is like 100% and we're happy with it. And we're not going to stop making the clothes because that's the brand. That's like the anti-social media brand. It's like the clothes. So, but let's just say at some stage we do the snowboards. We're going to have a separate section on the website that gives people access to only that section for having, you know, the snowboard guy, whatever it might be. But that's I'm just letting you know the plans are far down the line. So we have plans of how we're gonna get or what we want right now, and then future plans. So we just have like a lot of things that we're busy thinking about. And as well, I think even in the anti-social media chat, I showed the Utes ID. I can grab it and quickly post it, and I thought it was really really cool. Yeah, I'll repost it. I thought this was cool how the Utes had. It almost looks like an ID card.
Yeah.
Are you back? Nice.
Yeah.
I was just
The
speaking.
Ute
Yeah, I was
ID
Yeah,
card.
yeah. I was like speaking about
Yeah.
the parties, just for fun. Something like far later down the line we can end up doing, which will be quite fun. Um,
And that would be actually I know exactly how to do that as well. It's
oh
just
yeah,
QR code technology. So if you had an NFT, you could base it on that NFT. If you own one of the, it'd be a little bit of work, but for sure that's something
yeah, that'll be
that
that.
wouldn't be too hard to
Uh huh.
implement.
I think it will be really really cool. And then I was also speaking about obviously the website having sections for each thing, on like having access to it with the NFTs that you hold. It would be quite in depth on that. But that's something
Yeah.
we with the website, something we like working on already. Like we're getting it going because we want that's like a really big thing, and then the clothing.
Yeah, like the next step of the website, like we're gonna go from 0 to 100,
Mhm.
essentially. Like the website, if you look at the website right now, it's just like a detailed something that I whipped up in like a couple hours, made sure that it went over everything that was going down at the moment. But I've met Oak, and we've had these brainstorming sessions where the ideas have really escalated into something that is a lot bigger. And this was always like the plan from the start, but I think it's going to come, not financial advice. I think it's coming very soon, like sooner than anything that we've actually thought was going to happen. Like now we've talked to lawyers, we've talked to people that are actually like financial advisors and like how we can actually do this and how we can actually implement this and all the laws in place,
Mhm.
how we're going to effectively make this into a reality. And it's kind of coming together at a quick rate. So like it's not going to be years
No.
until things happen.
Yeah.
It's going to be weeks or months.
I'd say not to put a timeline on it, but I'm gonna say like we look how quick we achieved from 2 weeks. We made the lost souls and we dropped it in 2 weeks, and like we moved really quickly with that, and we grew the Twitter following from 900 to I think it's about almost 1.3 now. So we
Yeah,
moving quick.
and
And sorry, let me just read this.
and
Yeah.
that's the other thing. Like even with the Twitter, with the following, with all these things, like it's doing well within the community, but there's a lot of other
Mhm.
communities and the XRP community. Like the thing is, we want to, how do I say this? Reward like the initial investors, not financial advice. We want to reward everybody that is getting into it early by building something that can actually grow beyond what it is right now. Like we want to build something that can excel into the real world, like
That's the
something
thing
that
with the
people you
brand.
could just walk down
Mm.
the that's yeah, that's with the brand. You could see people walking down the street and they could just own the merch. They have no idea that it's tied to XRP. They have no idea that it's tied to anything. But the people that are here buying the NFTs, doing all these things in the digital world, those are actually the people that are going to be getting rewarded from the people that are buying it on the other side.
Not financial
Because
advice either.
I know, just have to
That's
make sure, because
yeah.
yeah, but
It's like also
there's
going back on that thing with the brand. It's just like having maybe a percentage that you put back in for the staking that gives people
exactly.
a reason of holding. So percentage not set in stone yet, but the net profit at the end of you'll probably start with a month net profit of a month, and then eventually once it's enough, you do it at the end of every year.
Exactly. So say you're saying you're making a fiat. Say you're making, I don't know, 50K, 100K a month in fiat profit, in the future, whatever.
Let's just
And
say
you
yeah.
put 10%, 5%, no number has been officially decided, but the percentage of that, and you put it back into XRP, and we do an airdrop every month.
Hmm.
So everybody that's holding Lost Souls, everyone that's holding degens, anyone that's holding physical merch, will have different numbers set up for each of these. And a portion of all the rewards from the brand, no matter what it is, because technically it's a conglomerate, so you could have anything under one brand. You could have a section for skaters, you could have a section for snowboard,
Snowboarders.
section for
Yeah.
skateboards, we could have coffee, we could have this, we could have that, we could have clothes. A brand that stands for something is a brand that can achieve anything. So in the future, we're going to have all these different things, and all the rewards of certain things can be put back into the NFT space.
Hmm.
And that's the other thing with so say we did have a coffee brand. This is an example, 100% an example. And we were selling coffee. Like this could be like anything. Like this could be weed. This could be snowboards. This could be skateboards. This could be absolutely anything that we want to associate under our brand. But say you own an NFT for, like as Oak was saying before, it's, I don't know, like snowboarding penguins. Like I don't even know what
Yeah.
we'd make for
Snowboarding
that, but
penguin. Yeah. Let's just say
like
that.
any, you could have that. But say you own an NFT in that collection, and we don't do big collections like 10,000 collections. We like to keep them small, like in the
Less is
1,000,
more.
2,000.
Yeah.
Under, yeah, less is more. So any NFT, because yeah, also when you have a small supply of NFTs, there's more reason to get involved in the entire space. Anyways, there's
Let's
more,
just
yeah,
maybe
room
say
for
room
improvement
prof
for
and like room for more. There's more profit
for everybody.
for
Like,
everyone, if that makes sense. So if
and
you have to split,
that's the best
let's just say
case.
10%. Let's just say if it was 10% of the net profit, split that between 10,000 people. Like let's just say if everyone had one NFT, you would have to split between 10,000 people if you had 10,000 collections.
Yeah. So let's say snowboarding penguins is tied to our snowboards,
Hmm.
and we move forward into our physical space and we start selling these snowboards under anti-social media. Maybe they could have a different name. Maybe they'd be something, but this is just an idea. And this could apply to any single physical item that we sell. So you, as an NFT holder under that specific conglomerate, would receive a portion of that net profit. So we could set that as whatever we see viable. Like we don't want to screw anybody over. It might be like higher at the start and then we might lower it depending on how much profit we make. But we want to make sure that anybody that's actually investing and helped us like achieve our vision is actually making their money back and
Yeah.
getting properly rewarded like effectively, because
That's
it
the whole
just doesn't
thing.
make
Yeah,
doesn't sit with me well if people are not
I agree, and that's
getting
the whole thing about the
rewarded.
NFT stuff. It's like with um, like utilities and stuff. I feel like some people pay a lot and don't get much in return, and I don't like that. I don't feel good about taking people's money without giving back. If you know what I mean.
It doesn't make sense because
Yeah.
if somebody invests in your company, let's say we're on Shark Tank right now, if somebody invests in your company, they expect something in return, no matter what it is. So if you're the person that's going to help us start a brand, that's going to start helping us accelerate into getting better manufacturers, getting into different spaces, getting into different every single space that we can get into. If you're the person that's helping us do that, there is zero reason why you should not make a large chunk of money back in
Mhm.
return.
Mhm.
And that's rule number one. Like that's just good business, no matter what it is. If you're an investor, you deserve something in return,
And,
not
and
just
that's how I
the
look at
art.
the
Like the
NFT
art's
stuff.
cool,
Yeah, I
but
agree. Yeah, and it's just like you don't want the utility to be just like points, and then with the points you can get stuff. Like that's cool, 100%. I think that's like different projects do different things, and yeah. But what was the thing that I was gonna say now? I had it and it just clicked away. Oh my word. What was it? Dude, I lost it. That's what I was
oh, it's okay.
saying now.
It'll come back.
Yeah.
It'll come back. But yeah, there's no reason that anybody that invests in anything early should not get something back. Like, and I don't know. I've been around the NFT space. I haven't invested in like tons of NFTs myself. I've always been weary. Like I've always been a huge fan of XRP for probably 3, 4 years now, maybe since the start of COVID. And I've seen projects come, then go, then come, then go, and they've all done kind of the same thing. It's like people see something succeed and they think that that's the template that you base everything on, but
And
the
talking
idea
about
is to kind of make something a little bit better. And the way that you make things better is that you do something bigger.
yeah,
And something bigger is a brand and something that
what never made sense to me as
resonates.
well. Talking about that, it's like people take, let's just say 100. They let's just say their rug. They take like $100,000, but they could have taken that money and actually bought something crazy, which would have made way more.
And
It
built
just
some like yeah.
yeah, it doesn't make sense. It's yeah, but
I mean,
it's
that's the formula. Like, why are you making money unless you're going to use that money to do something?
mm-hmm.
It doesn't make much sense to me, like personally. Obviously XRP, we're all here, and we all believe that this investment is going to go up in value, and the NFT space, as it goes up in value, the NFT space is going to also go up in value because there's going to be more people, more eyes, more everything. Like, this is just a very good position to be in you know, as Greg Kidd was talking about in one of the interviews, it's like everybody's kind of just waiting for the world to end, but everybody just wants a really good seat to watch it, like to see if it actually happens. And I think that we're all in the position to where we sit back and actually watch to see what happens. And I think we're in the best position for, the places that we're going in the world. So we're all in this together, but as anti-social media is as a brand, as we grow, like we're trying to be something that accelerates, I guess, the XRPO, and
Mm-hmm.
we go into the real world branding. We go into this, we go into that. We got Arval as well.
Let's see. We got a question. Plans for ASM. Just curious about the plans for raising funds to implement ideas, creating new collections. New collection
Mm. Do you want me to take that, or do you want to do it?
Yeah, you can start and I'll go off afterwards if you want.
So raising funds, like one of the main ideas for raising funds was Lost Souls is gonna be the thing that accelerates us into the
Clothing. Yeah.
manufacturing, into clothing, into
The
this is
website.
like that would enough funds to get everything going completely. Like we would reinvest everything. Just like DGens, we reinvest it all. And right when we get to that point, we would be able to raise funds through the merch, assumably. Like we'd go into the directions of
Which is the public when you come into the public now, because then the NFT side, like the raw. That's when the public
Yeah.
starts coming in. So basically, we're taking all these funds that we're getting now, also to get into the sculptures, because we're gonna start looking into the sculptures as well for
Yeah.
people to start
3D
claiming in the website.
printer,
Yeah, and the
all
resin.
these yeah. And that's the thing with promo in the public. Like when you start promoting on Instagram, TikTok, like I've played around with that space for quite some time. Like I went viral, I guess you could say, a few times just posting stupid videos. Like I kind of understand the algorithm. If I wanted to do promotion, if I wanted to do clothing promotion, start a brand, I genuinely think there's a market for that. And it's outside of the crypto space, which is about not like honestly, like we can all say it's about 99% of everybody that is outside of the crypto space. Like this is like a niche community of
Mm-hmm.
people that are very similar in mindsets, very similar in a lot of ways, and we all have a certain opinion, but
Mm-hmm.
there's people outside of the crypto space that are just interested in clothing. They're just interested in this and that, and like there's no problem with that at all, and we'd love to get into that space as well.
So maybe also to
And
clear it up a bit more, it's like, so about the raising of funds and potential ideas. So like also the the later stuff that's like later. It's like we were just mentioning the full plans of everything, but like right now with the
mm,
Lost Souls collection funding, that's all going to the clothing and the websites and stuff. And then obviously to start prepping, like we said, for the sculptures. That's maybe because like the whole thing about the penguin snowboarders, it's not just to release a whole new collection. You could think about it as a company under ASM, but that's like later. That's like way down the line once we get the clothing going, and then once we have the clothing going, it's not that the lost souls are just going to drop in floor price or drop in value, because like we said, there's a
not
certain
financial
percent.
risk.
Yeah, not financial advice, but let's just say the percentage that we get from the clothing goes back into lost souls, so the lost souls won't
Yeah.
lose their value. Not like Crip said, like not financial advice, but that's the plan. So then,
Cover our
if
base.
we had to later down the line, once we have the clothing going, and we drop the snowboards, let's just say the snowboards, then we drop a collection, then people would be able to take profit of the snowboards, for instance, of how that's like the idea at the moment. But that we're not dropping another collection until we have the clothes, like 100% top tier,
Yeah.
public, big audience. Yeah.
And the next collection, like if you guys are really big fans of the Lost Souls, like personally, I think Oak did an amazing job.
I
Like these
think.
are insane NFTs. They're some of the best that I've seen on XRP. Not by like okay, maybe it is a little bit biased because we made them, but you know, they they're just really cool. They're like really I've never seen anything as unique. Like they're they're in their own category. Like there's not it's not like we're making a derivative of another project. Like it is what it is. And that's the beauty of it.
Mhm.
And you know, as we continue to go on and as we continue to do things like there's even possibilities to excel back into certain collections like Degens aren't going anywhere. Lost Souls aren't going anywhere.
And that also
All these
goes,
things will exist in the future as
yeah,
we continue on.
and that all goes back to even the website. Like you need to have a certain amount of legions and a certain amount of lost souls to be able to qualify to buy maybe a collectible, for instance, right?
Yeah.
So that's like a lot of the stuff we're talking about is plans and etc. Like, but what we can say that we're doing right now is obviously the website to get that into play, and then the clothing. Like that's like the main step. The clothes is the main step to get that. With the website, of course, we need the website, and then going on to Instagram and TikTok and start getting our audience bigger there, and then that might tune back onto the Twitter and stuff, and maybe getting us obviously a bigger community, a bigger platform. Because a lot of people use Discord in general. I feel like even if you're not in crypto, you can. I mean, a lot of people still use Discord. You know, and even if
Yeah.
they don't, we don't need everyone in Discord. We still can just have the community on Instagram and Twitter, and TikTok. Because TikTok, I'm not gonna lie, is a very good place for. I mean, people buy clothes like crazy
Yeah.
on TikTok.
It's so weird. It's so
Yeah.
weird. If you're living in that space in the TikTok, Instagram space, you could be a brand. I've seen some people that post like these weird toys. Like it's just a toy I've seen and they go viral and that's all you need. And
Mhm.
they make millions of dollars in profit. So
Yeah.
the plan is, we get a little bit of funding here and we use all that funding to put back into the brand and all that funding, not financial advice, is going to be returned to everybody
Mhm.
during our plans, during our stages, during everything. Like there's our vision. That's like the other thing with NFT projects. Like you see a lot of people that have this character, and there's only so far that you can go with this character. Like that's why we kind of wanted to get the Lost Souls out, quickly, was to show that we're not just one thing. We're not just degens. We're not just this character. We are something that's bigger
We're
than
anti-social
what you're
media.
seeing. We're anti-social media. We're not just degens. We're not just lost souls.
Yeah.
This is a plans. Like this is plans within plans within plans, and it all leads up to something that's way bigger than just what we could see on the NFT space and on the XRP ledger. Like there's real world. I hate the word utility because a lot of people like to throw the word utility around in
Yeah,
the NFT space and in
definitely.
crypto. It's like
Mhm.
we have utility, bro, but it's like they just create a token that has no value or something, and they give you that token that has no value, and the only way it has value is if somebody else buys it from you, and then the value. It's like we're not here to do that. We're here to create a real business, like something that is bigger than the crypto space, at least because it's a niche market. Nothing's going to be bigger than the crypto space within 5, 10 years. But these plans are, a couple years away. Like they're closer than the final plans of the crypto space.
Yeah, and also the thing with the brand is like we want to move fast because everything that does well moves quickly. We'll keep moving quickly while
E-
keeping quality, and that's the biggest thing. Like, we're
And
not, yeah,
yeah,
we're not gonna drop.
what's up, Shaq?
Yeah, what's up, man? We're not gonna drop any collection or any clothing line or anything we think doesn't look up to par. Because it's a brand, we're representing something, and we're not gonna do anything to put our brand down because we want it to do as good as
Fuck
possible, as
that.
great as possible. Yeah, and dude, to that heat pressing thing, like always tells me, always
It
makes
just,
me.
it makes me upset. Like in like a weird way. I think it's because I have like slight OCD when it comes to things like this, but it's like if I'm gonna make something and you're gonna wear something that I made, I'm not gonna like
Yeah,
put it it's not gonna be some basic crap. Like it's gonna be the best fabrics. Like we're gonna source this from the best manufacturer. We're gonna make sure that the heating press, like every single thing is like top quality, and we're gonna give you the top quality hoodie, the top quality
yeah,
shirt, the top quality shorts. Like it's just like I know how people do it. Like I've looked into this. They do the Printify, they do the Shopify, and they drop ship
margins are
their
low
hoodies,
as
and the
well.
margins are low, and it's just cheap quality crap.
We want
Like
tags,
literal
ASM tags on the clothes
no
behind.
tags.
Yeah, like
Fuck that.
stickers that come in your box. Don't forget about the stickers, guys.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah,
bad quality clothes that doesn't last too long. Like we're here to make top sourced fabrics. We meet with the manufacturers. Like we make sure this is something that's like high quality. I would wear this. Oak would wear this. I think everybody wants
and that's
this.
also the
Like
whole
this is
thing with going
beautiful.
into the public. It's not we're not just here for the NFT community. We are a brand that's going public, like that's there for everyone. So the we have more of an audience. Obviously, if we just focus on the NFT, like if we drop a lost soul, that's obviously if someone wants a lost soul on the t-shirt, we can organize that. But what I'm saying is, if we had to drop a
Yeah.
lost soul on a hoodie, that doesn't relate to anyone. Doesn't make sense. Like
It
the
doesn't make sense. Yeah, yeah. It
yeah
doesn't make sense that anybody except the lost soul holder. So
yeah.
like obviously if you're a lost soul holder, we're gonna have spaces for you.
Mhm.
And that's like with the secret, I guess you could call it secret, but different sites or different positions of the website. So say you sign in with your Zem account, it verifies you have this lost soul, this lost soul, this lost soul. It'll let us know on the back end of the server, and it'll be like, okay, he wants to buy a hoodie for his gold lost soul. He has a 101, or he just has a really cool lost soul. Like we have all the objects, all the 3D objects. We could do that for you. That's no problem. There's a lot of things that we can do in the future, so that's absolutely no problem. Depending on what you want, whether it's a degen, you want to get your degen. Say even we could do customizations. Like say you want a hoodie off the website. It's a certain design of hoodie, but you have a really cool degen that you want to just put on the sleeve of your
Mhm.
hoodie or on
That's
like
not
the
a square.
bottom
That's not
in a
heat press.
tag.
It's not a heat press square.
Yeah.
It's like actually a transparent region that looks good.
Yeah. Like your exact thing. Like we can put that on the hoodie. That's no problem. That's something that we're looking into to make sure that we do when we get the full website up and running. The current website, obviously, kind of like a beta, kind of, it's not fully functional, like fully interactable with every single thing you want to do. It doesn't have Zoom transactions. It doesn't have emails that you can sign in and you could do all these things with. But like I said, we're going to 0 to 100 with the next step. So
Mhm.
the next website, you will see, like, we're going to put a large portion of the funding into making sure that the next website is fully interactable, fully functional with our manufacturers. We have lawyers set up, like, we can make sure that the next step is exactly what we want. So then it's functional and we could make changes as we go along, like say per drop. Say we have a new drop of hoodies, shirts, clothing, basket, like whatever we want to do, we can have that in the next drop, and
Mhm.
that's the way that we're going to do it. So it's going to be drop wise.
Yeah.
So
And
first
like
come, first serve,
coming
and
onto
it's done. We're never making it
exclusive,
again.
yeah, coming into the exclusive and the limited, which makes clothing more like the less sculpts of what's that guy calls? We were talking about him on the unofficial call. Like calls, for instance, he has like
Oh yeah,
one of one sculpts, and that's
isn't it
why
Jack?
the
I
the,
don't know.
the artist.
But yeah, I know what you mean. He
Yeah,
has those
but
sculpts that all
yeah,
the streamers have in the background.
yeah, that's something
Yeah,
that would be so cool to have, like our ASM sculpts in the back.
it's
That would be so
I
awesome.
guess we're teasing it a little bit here, but
Hmm.
that is something that we're very, very intrigued on doing.
Yeah,
And we could do, so we're gonna have a 3D printer. We're gonna have all these things. They're gonna be resin printed. They're gonna be like
high
top of the line
quality.
quality,
Yeah.
hand painted. And they could be shipped out depending on what you buy. So say you buy one, say you buy a sculpt on the website based on, you want a 3D like Lost Soul. Like we have a one of one, which is like a Lost Soul in a snow globe, and we use that kind of as a teaser to kind of say like, hey, you know, this could actually be a physical thing.
Hmm.
We're making physical things. Like if you want to buy a Lost Soul in the future, we're gonna actually offer you the physical
You know what the other thing
opportunity to
is
do that.
on that topic? It's like NFTs are cool, and I spoke to Riddle the other day as well about this. Like NFTs are cool to have on a screen or something, or to have as your profile photo. But how can we make it that it's more than just that? Like something you can hold, something
Cooler.
that like something you can actually have in front of you that you basically achieve, like you bought and you achieved it. Like it's not just a picture, which I think
Yeah, and
like with the
I feel
hoodies as
like
well.
like I feel like everybody's in the same boat right now because the metaverse, as cool as it is, as cool as we think it's going to be, it's not here yet. So like what's the coolest thing that you could do now? And it's the physical world. It's the real world, owning things that are actually here, owning things that you could actually hold in your
Hmm.
hand or wear on your body and go out and have a conversation with. Like the coolest thing that you could do now is things that are physically here in the physical world. So we want to combine the best of both worlds. We want to prepare for the now and also prepare for the future. So if you're an early investor, like the future is not here yet. So if you buy a physical hoodie, you're gonna get a digital copy, digital, and you'll get the NFT that's minted on the XRPO. You'll
Hmm.
get a 3D object, a GLB of a hoodie, of a collectible, say a basketball, say a skateboard, say a money gun, like all these things you can host on Unity, you can host in the metaverse, and all these things you can interact with. So we want
Yeah.
to combine the best of both worlds. We
So
don't want to
maybe
just be one world.
so maybe
And
talking about like the GLBs whenever I say GLB, because I say GLB a lot, it's like, so some people that don't
oh,
understand it, it's like the GLB is basically the metaverse object. You could say like the building or the character. They're all GLBs. GLB is
yeah,
basically just a file that you export from your software like Blender or ZBrush or something. It's of the file type. And then going back, I think we said this earlier in the beginning of the call. It's like when you buy your physical hoodie, whether it's a public or you as an NFT holder and it's exclusive or whatever, you can actually buy. Maybe it becomes a character at some point that you can actually buy the sculpt, and that's a maybe. It's a maybe. Maybe it's a character that's a GLB that you can play with in the metaverse, and you can put the
yeah.
hoodie that you buy on your metaverse character with the hoodie that you bought, basically. So you have, let's just say, the hoodie that you bought with your character that you bought, and you can play with it in the metaverse.
And yeah, if you want to
Customize it.
expand on that a little bit, like a hoodie, let's say you buy an anti-social media hoodie. Let's say you buy an anti-social media t-shirt. these are things that are going to be flexible to any metaverse character. So like the metaverse, if you really want to like think in the future, obviously we have to think of how is it going to work? How's it going to inspire people to come into it? Like new inventors, new brands, new everything. How are these brands going to be able to fit into this new digital world? And one of the things like I've listened to, Mark Zuckerberg talk, and like I've looked into all the deep dives of like how it's going to work. And essentially there's going to be AI systems that will allow formation to certain objects. So say you want to be a dragon in the metaverse, say you want to be a big bear, say you want to be a lizard, there's going to need to be a system that implements the form and function of clothing. So if you want to wear a hoodie, obviously that hoodie is going to be based on a body type. So if your body type is a person that's walking around like looks like a human, that's going to be easier. But what if you want to be a dragon? What if you want to be a lizard? What if you want to be any single thing that has a big body? Like what if you
Yeah.
want to be these things? So you need an AI system that takes that GLB, that 3D object, and it forms and functions it to any certain body in the world. So the way that GLBs work is when they're hostable, they're also form and functionable. So if you buy a hoodie and you get a 3D object, that 3D object can actually be used on any metaverse that's about to come out. So Expector or the Bored Ape Yacht Club metaverse, or like no matter how this thing ends up forming out, we can't see the future. We can only prepare for it. But the metaverse is coming, and we don't know when. Could be a couple years from now, but it's coming. So when it does come, there's going to be these 3D objects, and there's going to be clothing brands that want to jump in on it. There's going to be all these different systems, all these different things in place, and it's going to be way more advanced than anything we can build because there's billions of dollars behind this. We don't have billions of dollars, you know,
Yet.
but you but you can prepare for the people that actually have this money and are building it. You can see the way that they're thinking, and you can see the way that they're preparing. And if you position yourself correctly to in a proper trajectory, you can actually make sure that you're there in advance so that you're one of the first, like it's first come first serve. If you're one of the first metaverse brands, like is what we're
think
planning on
yeah.
being, you're in a very good position
Think about it as well.
to
Nike at some point is probably gonna want to have to jump on the metaverse thingy as well. Don't forget, like
exactly.
Adidas and all those big companies are going to have to. Because if
They all are going to
it's
do it eventually.
me personally, I'm not like the biggest metaverse person, but the metaverse is a lot of people really, really want the metaverse or want to live inside the metaverse, whatever it is. So we have our books open for that, and we're preparing for it, like you just said, which is great.
Exactly. Yeah, we're completely prepared for whatever is to come, and we're preparing accordingly to the way that we see the future going.
Mhm. And that's why we don't have a roadmap, because if we had, like, if we, because I feel like a roadmap is something that you
Roadmaps.
set in stone. Um,
Roadmaps are cringe.
I
They're
think the
cringe.
best way that we would do it is we would update you guys on a call every Friday, like we want to do, which will be really
Yeah,
nice, I think. Because I don't personally, a roadmap is cool, and you can say you're gonna do all these things in order, and but then it's like you're stuck to that. So what if something comes along the line that you want to jump onto, but you have a roadmap? It's like, wait, guys, you said you want to do this, but now you're doing this.
it's like it's like a personal thing. Like for me and Oak, it's like if you say it, if you say it in words, you formulate it so that people understand it. You have to do it.
Yeah.
Like you have to do it. So like when I said every 5 DGens you get a lost soul, I said it, and I may have said it like at the start of the DGens, but I had to do it because I
Mhm.
said it. I'm not going back on my word. So when in a roadmap, if you say a lot of things, you said it. You can't go back on your word. So that's just the way that it is.
Can you clear up the
XRM had a
comments?
comment. Any limits? Do you want me to clear this up, or
Yeah, yeah, you can
you
go
want
for
to?
it.
So the requirements for the hoodie, essentially the way that we're doing it right now, we have 1881 lost souls, so we stuck it to 18. If you own 18 lost souls, every single 18 that you hold, you're gonna get a hoodie. So you can own 100 hoodies if you really want to. It'd be crazy if you did, but you can. You can own an unlimited amount of hoodies. So 18 Lost Souls will get you one. I think 36 is the number that'll get you two.
So on, so
54,
on.
is that what
Yeah.
comes after that? It
And
gets
then
you three,
also you need
et cetera, et
the
cetera, et
100
cetera.
degens as well. We need the 100 degens. You also have to have a hoodie, or if you have, oh, before the snapshot we did, when we did the snapshot, if you had
Are
a
we
hundred,
doing the 100 regions?
yeah, yeah. I think that was in the, wasn't that in the, if, but we're also speaking about that if you undercut the, if people undercutting the floor at some point, or like making it like really bad. But
That's the thing with the free distribution.
yeah,
Obviously, when we did it early, like we had a plan to do it a few days later so that,
let me see.
freeholders wouldn't undercut the floor. Um, but the community sentiment was we want these free mints now. And, maybe we made a few mistakes there, but that was we wanted to make sure that we listen to the community and made sure that we like understand and listen and make sure that we're doing what they want. So that was the sentiment that we went. But all points aside from that, for 18 lost souls, every 18 that you hold, you will get a physical hoodie. And we're gonna do a snapshot after the 3D collection. So that's the way. And yeah, incorporating the degens, I think that that's something that me and Oak talked about, and I think that that's something that we can clear up and make sure that's officially like announced that you need, because we can do a snapshot of both the degens and lost souls. That's no problem at all.
Oh
What
yeah,
was
that
the
would help
number
the
that you
that would help the floor then, right? Because then,
it'd help everybody? Yeah,
yeah,
I agree.
because as soon as we did the snapshot, the floor price of the degens dropped. So if you incentivize that, if you
Yeah,
have 100 degens when you do the hoodie snapshot,
100 degens now is very hard to get, which is the only thing. So I'm thinking maybe if you hold, I'm even just gonna shoot some numbers out, like maybe 50 to
hmm
75, like that range, if you own around that range, because the degens are obviously like double triple the floor price
yeah,
now. So owning 75 degens now is like owning like 1,000 XRP worth, which might be a little bit more unattainable for certain people. So like 50 might be like a really nice number.
hmm
50 degens that you hold, and you own this amount of lost souls, and the people that obviously got in early are going to be rewarded more. But that's always kind of the way that we should do it anyways, because you put your faith in us before anyone else did, so why wouldn't you be rewarded? Like,
exactly, yeah.
that's just the way I see it. Is there a way for the
Oh, so like, is
oh
that to do with the staking, right? I assume.
I think he's saying so if you list an NFT for sale, you won't get the staking rewards.
hmm
And I think Josh mentioned that that's something that Stake did a while ago, and that's something. Yeah. So if you have it listed for sale, you're not available for
For
the
the staking or the,
rewards.
yeah. I think that
That's
is a good
something
idea. I do think it's a good
I
idea.
think is a very good idea.
You'd have to look into how you would that would work, obviously, because it needs to know when they are. Yes, could we do that? So we are using Rocket Launch at the moment for that. If we spoke to Rocket Launch, could they figure something out about that? Or is there? Do you
I
already
think
know the
we could
answer?
talk to them.
Okay,
The
because that is a
answer
good way to hold the
is
floor.
I don't know, but the thing is that if let's say I wanted to get in with Rocket Launch and for them to do that, that'd be something where I don't know. If I wanted to do it on my own, I could figure it out for sure,
Yeah, I
and I could
think
just
at
do it
some
on my
point
own.
that's what we're gonna end up doing on our own, especially if we're doing the whole conglomerate thing with the companies, like uh,
Exactly.
focusing on right now with the clothing. But I'm just saying in the future when we do the skateboards and stuff, like it would be better if we
Yeah.
did that less profit lost, more profit gain or whatever. Obviously,
I'm just gonna be right back again.
cool.
Just one sec.
Will there be a hoodie regions be a unique custom hoodie as well? Yeah, it will be. It will. Yeah, not available to the public. Anything I'm gonna say this, like I think with the NFT side of stuff, if we say there's only 18 lost souls or 100 regions that you need for getting something, it won't be open to the public because that would be unfair. So like we can't do that to you where you buy 18 lost souls and you buy 100 regions, but yet that hoodie goes to the public. That doesn't work. That yeah, that's like bad business. So no, it won't be. I think has. Let me see. But yeah, just to clear up last time, nothing that we do, if you need to hold it a certain amount of NFTs, you do not need to. It will not be to the public, because it's specifically why we have that utility. That won't be for the public, because that would be wrong. I would feel so bad if I had to open like the green hoodie, for instance, for the Lost Souls. If the public could buy it, that would feel that would be crazy. But
Oh, wait. Oh, there we go.
yes,
Back.
the front end.
How did you
social media returns.
Did you
Yeah,
answer John?
yeah, I did.
Okay. Dad hats with the LS on the front. It says social written. Yeah. Hats are like, that's definitely something we're
I
gonna
want to
do
do
100%. All
beanies
different types of beanies,
and
hats.
masks.
Like,
Masks, how cool
there's so-
masks be? Snowboarding for
that's the
masks, or like
thing.
even like no, that would be closed. But I'm just saying masks would be sick.
That's the thing with the brand. Like,
Anything.
honestly, when you don't have a, I always send a pic.
Oh,
Yeah,
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 it would.
literally. It would fit
With the
perfect.
ghost.
That's the whole idea of it. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, also just so I want to reply to Josh is imagine if we made it that people had like they bought 100 Degens and 18 Lost Souls, and then we make it to the public. That would be crazy. Like I would feel like such a I'd feel like such a bad person. Imagine if you had to make it public after they had to buy all these Degens and stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That would be
That's the
insane.
thing. Like, it has to be an incentivized.
Yeah,
Like,
there's
we have to
one.
provide something for those people.
Mhm.
100%.
There's no way.
It's not. No, that's so obvious. So like, we both understand that. Like,
Yeah.
that's something that if you did, there's like, you don't want to just leave the old people that invested, like the old holders, the people that invested early.
Mhm.
You don't want to screw those people over at all.
Yep.
That's just the most. I don't even know what the word is. That's the most
We're coming.
degenerate,
We're coming
like,
up an hour
BS
and
thing you could.
15 minutes, so I think I'm gonna end the recording here, and then everything will be just over tracking and stuff. So I think is
Okay.
there anything we missed before I end the recording? I don't think.
You can end yours. I'll keep mine going, and we'll see how long it goes for.
Okay.
But we could do a Q&A. We could do a Q&A.
Yeah, that sounds good. Because I think we can probably just rant about a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
But
And then I think might be time for if anyone wants to come and ask some questions.
so I think the
Cool.
Yeah, it'll be cool to get the
Yeah.
hats
Time
and
kind of
stuff.
flew by.
Yeah, it did. It's been an hour and 12 minutes already.
I thought it was like 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
Yeah, this was fun.
But
I
yeah,
can't
let me
wait
know,
until
and then
I can't wait until we start making the next like the public clothing as well though. So we already have the hoodie for the Lost Alice. We just need to get a cool design for the Degens, and then the public stuff will be fun to make. But when we do public stuff, are we gonna also do public exclusive drops? We'll probably have like a separate line, right? So we'd have like the public for
for like non-NFT holders.
yeah, like this non-NFT holders. So
I
you
don't
could
think so. I think the exclusive should only be for people that supported
oh no
NFTs,
no
because that's the
yeah,
easiest way to track it.
I mean
Like,
for
you
like
could track it on the blockchain.
the public thing is
with
almost a whole different thing too. If you had like 5,000 limited to the public, for instance,
yeah,
without
yeah.
leaving the NFT side out of it, like 5,000, and then you have also our public brand that doesn't run out. If that makes sense. So we'll drop like, so it would make an incentive for the public people to want to jump in.
Oh yeah, for both, we're gonna have to do limited drops. But for the public, it might be a little bit more. Like, it might be like 1,000
Yeah.
hoodies, 1,000 shirts,
Or
1,000 this.
even 5,000, because I know that a lot of companies do between 5,000 and that.
Yeah. Okay,
Well,
but
that's even like that's even like how Adidas does like their general line, but then they have the originals,
Mm-hmm.
which is almost like just like the sweatshirts are like a little bit heavier, You know what I mean? Like it's just a little
Yep.
bit, it's just a little bit different. You know,
Almost,
like the NBA does the same thing. Like the sneakers that the players are wearing on the court are not the same sneakers that you and I are buying from Foot Locker and shit like that. Like it's like
True.
one step higher,
yeah.
the grade of it. So maybe like if you did something like that for like the OG NFT collectors side of it, that'd be kind of cool. Maybe number them, something like that. Be neat.
Mm-hmm.
Hundred
We could
percent.
almost even do like, so you said the levels. It would be interesting to do like 3 levels. So you would have like the public, the exclusive public, and then the NFT, which is like top tier. If you know what I mean?
Yeah, based on whatever you hold, and we could have something that actually certifies that you hold, like without us making sure that you hold this.
Yeah.
Like it'd
Yeah.
be an automatic thing. Like we signed your you signed the transaction, and then it would say, "Oh, we know for a fact you own this amount of degens, this amount of lost souls. You qualify for this part of the website."
Mm-hmm.
And it'd be something that like you need to actually like go through all the trouble of figuring out. It just be done the second you sign your transaction and sign into the website.
That 3 tier idea from the marketing side, I think, is really smart. I
Yeah.
just think that it creates a little bit more hype.
Yeah, definitely. I think
Yeah.
we even need to do like so public hype because like we were talking about the NFT, almost the NFT side of it's almost like a very small niche. Like as big as the NFT or the crypto market is, I think we all know that the broad or the public majority of people don't know about NFTs and think like scam or whatever. Like not going to go down in that
Yeah.
rabbit hole, but
They know about it, but it's like
mm,
everybody has their own opinion on everything crypto based. Like, and honestly, I blame that on the media. I blame that on the way that everything's kind of gone down these last few years. FTX, Celsius, all these different huge companies that are worth billions and billions and billions of dollars that go collapse. And
yeah,
the thing is that doesn't affect the crypto market as well as people might believe that it does, but the general public that's not in crypto will think it's a big scam.
sorry,
It's done. It's over. And a lot of people, they have this idea where it's like, okay, I hate it now, like cuz they hate it because they missed out on it. But now they see that it's failing, they hate it more.
yeah.
They hate it more and they're not going to get involved
It's
because they're
almost
like, I was right. I was right about it. It's a scam, it's trash. So I'm avoiding it at all
It's
costs.
like that's
But that's not
exactly
the
true
way it's
though.
moving.
It's like when you miss out, you get that thing when you miss out, so you just hate it almost.
It's animosity. It's like if your friend succeeds, you want him to fail. If crypto succeeds, you want it to fail. And I'm not
Mm.
saying I'm gonna do that with if a friend succeeds, but I'm just saying like a lot of people, if somebody moves up in their category,
Yeah,
and you're not doing that well, you're like, well, why did he make it? It's that animosity towards something where it's like, okay, crypto went crazy. I don't
missed out.
wanna, yeah, I missed out on it, so I hope it fails. And then when it fails, quote unquote, you
And
see Sam Bankman-Fried, you see all these companies, and you're like, exactly, screw
yeah,
them. I'm glad it did. It's a scam. It's this, it's that. You verify your own opinion off of no data, and that's the thing. So you wanna apply to both markets. You know what I mean? You wanna apply to people that aren't in crypto and people that are in crypto, because I feel like we're two sets of people. It's a very distinct kind of category of people that we fall into,
hmm
opinions that we fall into.
that
Like
was also
obviously, yeah.
yeah. It was really cool that XRM brought that up as well. It's quite cool that we can. So you brought up the tier thing. It would be cool that we had like 3 tiers. It would be very interesting to do something
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
we could do that for sure.
Hmm.
That's the thing with the next website. Like we want to make sure that we make it actually like very proper, like very nice.
In depth, like
It's
or
integrated in, yeah,
yeah,
in depth.
not too complicated though. Like simple, but there's lots. You know.
That's yeah, like XRP Cafe. Like it's very approachable,
Hmm.
but it's very, technically,
Yeah,
savvy.
we
It's
want it
it's
to
a good
be
website.
almost like a baby could go and find stuff.
A bit, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, you don't want to make it too complicated because when it's something about websites, like you can look at lots of even exchanges on XRP that have different types of websites. Like they're kind of, I don't want to say overly complicated, but they're almost like niche and like a little bit too unapproachable. Like you want to make a website that's approachable. You look at it, you see exactly what you want to see,
Hmm. Not
and there's no
complicated.
issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you
Categorized. Yeah.
overcomplicate it, that's just
Also, it will
that's not
push away.
smart.
It will push away a lot of our, um, like, if we got someone join us from TikTok and we have all this this NFT stuff, and like it might make it too complicated for them to actually end the purchase. If you know what I mean, to go through the whole process.
Yeah, you want to make it as simple as possible. So
Mm-hmm.
when we talk about like incorporating XRP payments, we're only thinking about incorporating XRP payments for things like the phygital items, like things that you buy that you get the GLB copy. But there's obviously going to be the side of the website where you just buy the hoodie.
It'd
And
almost
for the
be.
when you buy the hoodie, it's just cash. Like there's
Mm-hmm.
no complications. You don't have to learn how to set up a Coinbase wallet, Crypto.com wallet, Uphold wallet. You don't have to learn any of that. You just have to. Everyone knows how to use cash. So
It'll be also cool because we will have like we could even do like a dark side, but it's for the NFT holders. So you can only
yeah,
access the
no.
dark side from holding the NFTs. You know,
Oh yeah, and I
that
I
would be
already have
interesting.
some ideas.
Oh
Like it
yeah.
opens like you got the VIP on the door. It just
Oh
opens
yeah,
up
that
a
would
new
be so
website,
cool.
and you got all.
That's
Yeah,
a
you got
that's the
some.
thing like Solana did. Or what? There was some ape, also some
Some ape.
yeah, another ape NFT
Too
collection.
many
Or
apes.
yeah, it was almost like, it wasn't a sloth. What's that big one called? An orangutan. I think it was like an orangutan. But they had like,
Orangutan play?
yeah, they had like a really cool website that was like you can click and you can have your own. It was almost like a metaverse. You could have your own apartment in the website,
Oh
which
cool.
is quite really cool. So imagine if we had like brainstorming now. Imagine we had, so with the metaverse we had our own ASM hotel, and then people would have like their rooms with their collectibles, that NFTs of what they've bought and stuff. That would be also really cool.
That's okay.
That's also
So for
just,
anyone listening, that's an idea.
yeah, that's not,
Because
yeah, not so. That's just something I thought about right now.
because just to make sure, like the
Yeah,
brand that we're building, we want to incorporate with any metaverse.
yeah.
We want to flesh within any single thing that becomes the biggest thing. So say the big like metaverse is only going to work if it works on multiple chains, if it's interoperable with every single blockchain. That's
Mhm.
the only way it's going to work. Like, because then you just have people over here and people over here and people over here and people over here. Like you want it to be interoperable so you can transfer within the Solana blockchain, and you can go to Ethereum, and you can go to
You can
XRP,
almost
and
think
you
of
can
it
go
like a
to
game, like changing
XLM. You can
servers
go anywhere. Yeah, exactly. So that's where we want our brand to be. We want it to be anywhere that,
when that
like, just
comes, we
every
can
anywhere and everywhere.
build on it. Yeah. So when the metaverse comes, we can build on these certain ideas. It's not that these ideas we're gonna build them so it happens right now. It's like when it happens, we are ready for that idea. That makes sense.
And what's the bigger market? Like, just genuinely, if you just think right now, what's the bigger market? Is it a small portion of a metaverse itself? Because there's already thousands of people making their own metaverses. Is the is that market oversaturated? Or is the market for people that are willing to come in afterwards with the clothing brands, with the things that you could actually use in the metaverse? I feel like that's the most unsaturated market right now.
Hmm.
So that's the idea of if you want to get into the metaverse and this metaverse thing becomes, something huge. You
Like?
don't want to be the person creating the metaverse that nobody uses. Like I don't want to create something that nobody uses. But if you create a clothing brand that you can see somebody in the metaverse and you're like, that's anti-social media? Wait, what anti-social media merch is that? That's like one of the first drops they ever dropped. Like that's crazy. That's cool. Like something that interoperates with the grand scheme of everything.
Mhm.
That's the idea. You don't
That's
want
a,
to. I'm not creating a metaverse. I'm sorry.
yeah, but that's also a really cool thing that you mentioned. It's like, oh, that was one of the first ones they bought, and but you get, so the person who has that one of, let's say, 100 or whatever is one of the
Yeah,
beginning ones. You have the GLB, so if you wanted to, you could sell it, for instance.
and and the market opens up as the metaverse becomes bigger. And the thing is about that is we're not going to sell you this as if the metaverse is already big right now.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to sell you it as if the metaverse is what it is. So if you buy a physical hoodie, you get it for free. We're giving it to you for free.
Well, the
The
GLB,
only the market only opens up if it opens up.
yeah.
Like we're not selling you something that doesn't exist. We're
We
not
have that
selling you a
option.
bridge.
Hmm.
Yeah. Like we're selling you the clothes, and for every single piece of clothing that you get the 3D object. So it's like we're selling you the clothes for a fair price. We're not going to overinflate the value of the clothes based on what we're given with it. because we don't know what the metaverse has in store. Like that's coming within the next couple of years. So there could be, not financial advice, a return on investment for metaverse clothing, because it's all going to be interoperable with any metaverse that comes, and that's
Like even with the
the
metaverse
idea
aside,
behind
it's just like you still have the public stuff. The
it. Exactly.
collectibles, the clothing, the it just by
It's a
holding
niche,
the holding like the by holding the NFT you get the staking, right? And I think that
and
was
there's
the
yeah,
best. Yeah, the point that was like the best was the floor. When we saw like have it if you're selling it or if it's on the floor like at a low price, you're not getting stake or you're not staking it. Like you're not getting the utility behind it, which I like a lot. Like that idea of when
and
you.
like
Mm,
yeah, and the thing with like certain drops of clothing,
mm,
like obviously we're gonna do limited drops, but we'll give a portion of that drop back. We'll buy back XRP and we'll distribute it to all the holders. So
yeah,
we
that's
don't
like
know
the
the
plan.
exact percentage,
Hmm.
but it's like there's real world utility outside of just promises. Like I don't like promising anything because promises aren't really promises until you just do it. And that's kind of the way that we've run this brand is like I'm not going to tell you exactly what I'm doing because like what's the it just feels like a lot of people they tell you I'm going to do this and then 2 years later
That's
maybe they
so
do it,
long.
but it's
Yeah,
like I'm just gonna tell you this is like sort of the plan, and whatever we do because we're just gonna do it as fast as possible. And
yeah.
I feel like that's more cool than any other type of thing that you could do. It's like we're doing it. I'd rather show you it
Then say we're
than
gonna
tell
do
you
it.
it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like do it, and then once you've done it, you can tell them about it. Almost. It's just like you to be telling them the plans, and then as it happens, it happens. It's like coming back to the roadmap almost.
Yeah. I mean, think about Ripple. Like, why is Ripple successful? Ripple isn't successful because they're telling you, like, Ripple's going to the moon, dude. Ripple's going to the moon. Pump our coin. Ripple, like, you're gonna make so much money if you buy our XRP coin. They haven't said that once. The only reason that XRP is successful is because they're showing you what they're doing. They're doing things and you're following it because you're intelligent. You're like, that's something that actually makes a lot of sense. That's something that actually is like niche and I've never seen before. Like this is really good technology. It makes sense to invest here because my money sounds like it seems very safe in this
Yeah,
investment. So if when people tell me they're doing stuff, like as the person that I am, I personally do not like it because it's like I'm not gonna really invest until I see something. So the way that we're running this brand is like we're gonna tell you, things as it's happening. Like with the Lost Souls drop, we didn't really show any of the artwork until a few days before we dropped it.
hi guys, I would just like to say thank you for watching up until this point. This is not the full video. If you would like to see the full video, let us know and we will upload it. It's basically us just recapping everything we went through and going through some more questions. Crypto is the rest of the video, so if we do want to see that, just leave a comment below and we'll upload that one as well. But I just want to say thank you for watching and thank you for everyone who joined us on the call. This was the first official ASM Discord call. We're eventually going to do Twitter Spaces at some point as well and maybe do podcasts. But this is just the start and we appreciate all of you for joining us and watching up until this point. Bye bye.